In today's video, I'm excited to bring to you the review of the Pioner GO. I've heard so much from Scandinavia about how well this boat's doing because they launched it over in Sweden and Norway first. And after trialling it out myself last week, I can honestly say I think this is one of the best 12.5 foot boats in the world. The performance was incredible and just the whole design I think makes it unrivaled. Pioner GO shares what the rest of the Pioner boats in the range are designed for. It's made from medium density polyethylene over in Norway, which means you've got a really good quality, solid, durable hull. Polyethylene is a naturally buoyant material, so you find that their efficiency on the water in terms of fuel consumption and getting up onto the plane is second to none. And Pioner always designed their vessels with stability in mind, so although she's only 12.5 foot, you're probably not going to find many other stable 12.5 feet boats on the market, making it a really safe choice for you and your family or using as a tender when out on the water. I suppose I should tell you about some of the specific features on the boat. We'll start at the bow like I do in most of my videos. So the Pioner GO, I'll talk about beneath the hull at the moment and how it's designed. It kind of strikes you more when it's out the water. It's difficult to see obviously right now, but it's kind of similar theme to the Pioner Multi. It's kind of got a catamaran planing hull. It's more in a V shape. It's difficult to explain unless you see it. From my experience when we were testing the boat the other day out on Loch Ness, she glides over the waves, and as soon as you put that accelerator forward, it just kind of immediately goes onto the plane, just with myself on board. So they've quite clearly taken that into account when designing the hull with that catamaran V-shaped design. Like all the other Pioner boats, you've got a nice useful eye on the front there for hooking up onto the trailer, or if you're hooking onto a mooring or dropping an anchor. That's one of the strongest points of the boat. So again, just a very practical design. We've seen a similar design on the 16 Explorer and the Multi, this sort of square front the GO has. This is very useful if you're transferring materials or transferring passengers. It means you can go nose on to a platform and dig the boat in while somebody comes on and off. They've obviously got that with design with this step. You've got the anti-slip groove in the front of the hull there. So I think Pioner, when they were designing this boat, was for easy transfer of people or belongings if it was pinned against a pontoon. When we were out in Loch Ness, we beached a couple of times on a pebbly beach, which was so easy to do for this boat because it's really light, easy to use, and the design of the hull just allows it to ride up onto that beach gently. There's no marks on this boat from us doing that last week. So it's just the way that the front of this boat and the hull has been designed, it's just so practical in many ways. It just makes boating so easy. I take a seat back here. So we've got this handy anchor locker at the front of the boat here. There's a nice little drain hole at the front. It's obviously not watertight, but it means if any water comes in, it'll just drain down into the floor there. Again, you've got your internal handles, just something to hold on to when out in the water. I really like these eyes that Pioner pop on most of their models. It means you can pop fenders, ropes, you can lift with them if you've got access to a crane or forklift. So it just makes it easy to use the boat. So I'm sat on a seat box here, just sort of moulded into the side of the boat, extra secure. We've got a couple of clips holding this thing down. Open her up. Plenty of room to store your snacks, extra waterproofs, I don't know, whatever you'd be taking out on the boat, but it's a decent sized locker, and again you've got the drain hole, so it's not watertight, but you've got the drain hole so it's not going to fill up with water. And these clips, they've upgraded I think the clips over the years, and these look extremely durable with your R clips, so you shouldn't have any issues. So the Pioner Go is self-draining, and they've got a single piece boat here. I say single piece because some of the larger models you've got the hull of the boat, and then you've got the polyethylene / wooden floor, but this is a one-piece design. You've got 2 deep grooves in the center of the hull here, so when rainwater or splash comes on, the water just filters into those channels and runs out the back. So it's again just a clever design, makes it perfect for using as a tender or leaving on a mooring or anything like that, because your boat's not going to be full of water in the channels. Out the boat it goes. They've got a sort of anti-slip pattern as well, because polyethylene potentially could be a slippy material if it was just left with a smooth finish, but they've made a point of putting these grooves on the floor, so you've got a lot more grip when you're moving around the vessel. Slightly different to some of the other Pioner models is the console comes with this boat as standard. This means that a tiller handled option is not available on the Pioner Go. I always lean customers towards a console steered vessel just purely for comfort and enjoyment on the boat, especially if you're new to boating as well. Steering a boat with a steering wheel comes a lot more automatic than using the tiller, because it's similar to maybe a car or something else that you would have driven sort of more conventionally. So I actually think it's quite a good move that it comes with a console as standard. You'll see the position of the console, because it's a 12.5 foot boat. Pioner obviously thought about balance of the boat. If you have far too much weight on the back on a small vessel, then you're going to struggle to get on the plane. The nose is going to be in the air. So for that reason, they've brought the console kind of midship. And when I was out last week, like I say, accelerator down, it goes onto the plane straight away, and we were getting sort of 24, 25 knots out of it. And I think if the console was further back, you'd be struggling for that little bit to get up on the plane, and then when it's on the plane, I don't know if you would lean into the boat enough to get up to 24, 25 knots. So yeah, clever design having the console there. Hello, James Hogan here from Caley Marina, bringing you the best tips and tools to help build the right Pioner boat for you. On this channel we do Pioner boat reviews and engine reviews, so you should consider subscribing. Because they've brought the weight of the boat forward a little bit with the console and the seats here, you've actually got quite a lot of space. I'll just climb in the back here at the rear of the boat. So again, handy storage, why not? You could put your fishing gear in here, or something in a dry bag, because you've got this level of space that could really fit anything in the back here. Like it's yeah. So yeah, plenty of storage space that could be used at the back here. We fitted a ladder, a wee step ladder on the back there. It's actually got a little grip aid on the bottom again, which I've not seen on the other ladders that Pioner have done before, so that's new to this model and to Pioner as a whole. It means this boat could be used for a bit of swimming, because that's an easy enough way to get back on board. Step down, use your rubber carry handles, and yeah, away you go. We've got our lighting pole at the rear there as well. This is just in case when you're out on the water, the weather turns a little bit, you've got some sort of visual aid that people could see on you. And the weather doesn't need to turn that bad when you're out there. The Har could come in here in Scotland, or it could start to settle to dusk. You've just got that peace of mind knowing that if you've got a visual aid on you, you will be spotted. We chose to fit Yamaha 20 horsepower electric trim and start to the Go. 20 horsepower is the maximum engine you can fit on the Go, so we thought it's a demonstrator, why not test it to its limits? And wow, I was impressed with the performance on the water. Like I say, 24, 25 knots. We were on Loch Ness, So it was a nice, vast, open part of the world that we could explore the performance on, and it did not let us down. We hardly used any fuel as well, which was the surprising thing. We were out for sort of 5-6 hours, and we weren't really holding back when we were out filming, and I used about half a tank of fuel. So the hull being that efficient and lifting up onto the plane means that the engine's working less hard and is burning less fuel. So yeah, I was very impressed with the Yamaha 20 horsepower paired up with the Pioner GO. So I'll step back out of the rear compartment. Talk about the seats. Now, again, new to the Pioner range, which I've not seen before. They've kind of shaped the plastic seat here, so it's more of an indentation for comfort. So when I was out last week, it worried me because you can't get cushions, and it's a hard seat to be sort of banging around in Loch Ness for, but it was comfy. That sort of indentation means you don't need any cushions, and it saves you a few quid because that's an accessory that you don't necessarily need when at the helm seat. The limitation is you can get cushions for that sort of L shape at the front there. If you were going out with passengers, I'd probably want cushions there, because that is just a flat plastic surface there, which is quite uncomfortable for the old backside. But yeah, the helm seat, because they've grooved that indentation there, a cushion isn't really required. You've got a couple of cup holders there as well, like we tend to throw in on most of the Pioner range, especially on the console there as well, just for your coffee or your bait for your fishing. Nothing new there, but extremely convenient. Again, we've got this R-clipped stainless system to open up your seat lid there. You've got enough room for your 24-litre fuel tank. Like I say, we used half a tank when we were out filming for sort of 5-6 hours. And you've got your battery and your battery isolator switch there, so convenient space to fit all that there. There's not much more that you would want to do with beneath the seat locker there. Easy enough to do. I really like the stainless R-clip. It just keeps everything together when you're out in the water. Again, they've got 3 sort of self-draining holes, so when the rainwater hits your boat when it's sat at its mooring, it'll just filter out onto the back there. I take a seat in the helm position, so I'm 6 foot, and this is a really comfortable helm position for me. But you look, there's loads of space with the knees here, so I dare say that it would cater to much taller folk than myself, but I'm not overstretching. This is just extremely comfy for me. When we were out, I had my legs sort of spread out just for comfort when it was flat. Obviously legs back for when it gets a little bit bumpy, so you can help brace your position. But it was all just really easy and manageable. We've got a couple of switches on the front here for our lighting pole. There's actually a spare switch. Maybe if you want to put a plotter on there, that's how you would power that. And you've got a USB charging port that comes as standard if you're using your phone or iPad for navigation. There is no screen and rail for the Pioner GO, which potentially is a controversial choice, especially here in Scotland, but it was quite nice having the full breeze and the full elements. We picked a nice day to head out and do our testing last week, but that's just something you've got to adjust to. So yeah, 2 people back here could sit comfortably, quite the thing, and you've got space for another couple of people up front there. So yeah, it's a very generously spaced boat, even though she is only 12.5 foot. So the limitations of the GO. She is only 12.5 foot, so 12.5 foot boats have only got certain capabilities. The larger the boat, the more seagoing capability it's going to have. Having said that, we were out in Loch Ness and Loch Ness does get pretty lumpy because it's 28 miles of one direction wind, so there was quite some chop coming in places, even though we picked a good day. All we had to do was ease back the throttle, and she coped absolutely fine. So I was impressed with the performance of the boat when we were out there. I was extremely excited to try the Pioner GO because the feedback from Scandinavia, where the boat was launched last year, was very high. I hold that in high regard because the Scandinavians do know how to boat. So from the moment we left Caley Marina to go test, it was an easy boat to tow because of its size. Launching was an absolute doddle because of the weight of the boat, so it was in the water in no time. And from the moment I turned on the engine, spun around and opened her up, it just had that wow factor. Like I say, I believe we were getting 24, 25 knots when we were out on the water. It turned incredibly well. Loch Ness got quite lumpy in places, so for a 12.5-foot boat you're thinking, oh, how's this going to handle? You just knocked her back the accelerator a little bit and she just rode over the wave. Quite the thing. The reason it was so easy to get up on the plane on camera areas of the water is the design of the hull just lifts it up and it just chops over the waves, so it's not fighting every single small wave that comes in. So yeah, extremely impressed with the Pioner GO. I think it's going to be great for the tender market. I think people that live on the coast and just want to tootle around the bay or wanting to just explore the nearer region, then it's going to be perfect for new boaters that haven't got much experience. It's so easy to use. There's lots of different uses for the Pioner GO.